Hey and welcome to Neverwinter with Aragon. So in this video I want to showcase my budget build for my Cleric Devout. This is a Cleric Healer. This build should set you up for a decent foundation to be able to comfortably complete any of the random queued content. Trial queue, dungeon queue, skirmish, and this build will get us enough item level to unlock all of them as well. Again, with a budget of 1 million astral diamonds. There'll be timestamps on the play bar below where you can skip to any section you're most interested in. First of all, we're going to talk about powers. You want to have a good setup to be able to actually heal. First of all, Scattering Light. You're going to use this just to attack your enemy when you have nothing really else to do in combat. When everybody's decently healed and you want to generate some action points. What you can do with this ability is animation cancel. Now the basic way you will do it and the way you will do it on consoles is you just hold down your at will, the Scattering Light, and then you will press your tab ability consecutively, cancelling it like this. And that way you'll gain a decent amount of action point regeneration faster than you normally would if you were to just hold down the at will. There is quite a lot of timing you need to master with that. However, if you're on PC, you can currently use a Keybind right here. I'll have this in the video description below. You copy that and you paste it in your chat. Now what you can do is you can spam your Scattering Light button, so that'll be our left mouse button, and it'll allow you to animation cancel just by pressing one button rather than two. There is a certain pace to it which you need to get used to in order to do this efficiently, and thus you'll get your daily power within 15 to 20 seconds depending on your build. You may have seen me stacking some action point regen in a recent video and getting my daily power in 8 seconds. That is when you get your action point regen to about 50%. In this build we won't really be focusing on that, we'll be focusing on our healing. So our other at will is Blessing of Light, so anytime before you cast the healing power, cast this, you'll get a halo, and then when you go to cast that heal power, the halo disappears and that heal is affected by that 10%. Try and again cast it before you cast any heal power. So with the encounter powers, we are using Healing Word as our primary heal over time. You want to have that up all the time. And a very easy way to make sure you have it up all the time is to cast Exaltation before you cast Healing Word. So you'll cast Exaltation, then Healing Word. And you know that by the time Exaltation is off cooldown, that you need to cast Healing Word again, because the cooldown of Exaltation is 19 seconds and Healing Word's duration is 18 seconds. Otherwise we have Bastion of Health just to top up people's hit points. So if one person or two people are particularly low, aim this on them and heal them. Now, the amount healed will be divided by the amount of targets within the area. So if you just want to heal one person, you're going to have to do a bit of aiming to try and only get that one person within it. Keep in mind you are limited how often you can cast these based on the divinity cost. You have 1,000 divinity, which is on the bar here, and that pool will slowly regenerate, and so you don't want to be spamming your heals all the time. For the daily powers, you'll generally use Guardian of Life when everybody's spread out, but if you know people are going to stay grouped up, which is not a lot of the time in random queues, you could use Hollowed Ground and it would give that added damage resistance and heal over time while they stand within it. There's Guardian of Life plus this feat allows for added heals, and the area is 40 feet, so keep in mind of that. You do want to position yourself somewhat in between your party members. For the features, we're taking Hollowed Guide, so you'll get the additional heal boost when within 15 feet. And we take Overflowing Spirit. Now it's debatable whether Overflowing Spirit's worth it. For a new player, I do believe it is, because when you enter a fight, you want to go again Exaltation and then Healing Word. And that'll be the first thing you spend divinity on, giving you that snapshot boost with Overflowing Spirit. The alternatives aren't really much. There just isn't any great other abilities here you could use. Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Yes, Expanded Faith if you're in a particularly long fight and need that higher ceiling of divinity. I will showcase a run of just going with randoms in one of these queues, and I'll upload that with some commentary. For the feats, we're going with all of these, and ultimately repeated blessings to extend the duration of your healing word, battle prayer to be able to have a just 1 second cast time on that light of divinity is really great. If you need to heal the person who's got that mark, again, you will press like your tab to put the mark on somebody and they get these angel wings and you know they have the mark. But if you're animation cancelling like this, the mark could end up on some random target, and in most cases you won't even use this ability. And then the buff here for exaltation, you can use Divine Glow if you really need some divinity regen. Just as a newer player, it can be very helpful to have the boost from Exalt for your healing word. You generally want to use your daily power as well after you've cast Exalt to buff that up too. And then Persistent Guardian to have your angel floating around to heal allies. And lastly, Angel of Life, give you the option to cast those heal powers without even needing to spend any divinity. Just keep in mind you do have other powers, and you might want to experiment using intercession instead of, say, exaltation. In some fights you may even need to have a cleanse, so there's cleansing light, and in some areas even astral shield can be useful. So we move on from there to our stats, and what you want to focus on is power, outgoing healing, critical severity, and critical strike. And you'll get those stats through your gear, companions, mounts, etc. We'll go through upgrades when we get to the gear section. But first of all, race and ability scores. I've gone with Dragonborn just because that's what I race rerolled my character to. And I done that about a few years ago. Good alternatives would be human, half-orc, wood elf, Azimar, Sun Elf, or Drow or Mensa Brands in Renegade. And there is also the Metallic Ancestry Dragonborn. For the ability scores, you generally want to be focusing on Dexterity and Wisdom. Currently I have it on Charisma because I guess that's what I chose to have it on at the time, and I don't really want to spend 60,000 astral damage to retrain that. In the end of the day, it's not going to be a big deal, so I'm not going to personally change it to Wisdom. But if you are kitting out your healer, I recommend having Wisdom instead of Charisma. So let's move to our gear and what we want to be getting. So what I highly recommend is upgrading your armor piece to the armor piece from the Seals of the Dragon here. Gives the power and outgoing healing per party player in your team. Random queue content, you have 5 players, that's 10,000 stats. If you're still working to get those Seals of the Dragon, then the Seals of the North one right here will do you good with just the bonus power. You will have to get Seals of the Dragon, and you'll obtain those by doing your random trial queue, your advanced dungeon queue, and also your dragon hunts. Then I also recommend getting the boots here with 10,000 outgoing healing boost when in a party. And for you, if you don't have VIP, you can't summon the Seals vendor like I do here, go to the Seven Suns custom market in Protector's Enclave and you can find the Seals vendor there. Now there aren't really any good headpieces or arms pieces that you can pick up early on. You will want to go ideally to do dragon hunts and get the serene mitts of the dragon hunter, and for the headpiece you'll most likely want the serene hood. From here you can upgrade your armor as well and just go with the tactful leathers until you get like a maxed out build. Then you probably want the outgoing healing one instead, and the boots you'll generally stay with those 10,000 rating Seals boots for quite a while. For the weapons, again, I would recommend initially getting the Seals of the North weapons. You will need to get these Seals of the North, which you just get from random queues, the random skirmish queue, and the dungeon queue, which you'll do every day. You can also get them by doing heroic encounters in the newest zone, Demon Web Pits, which you can jump in there regardless of your item level. You just have to get the quest for the Whispering Post called Whisperers in the Dark, and then the quest to go to the Demon Web Pits, Narbondulin. When you get to endgame, you will want to get your mastered weapons. At least those are the cheapest ones. You can get higher item level versions, but these will usually do the job. Getting the main hand and the offhand. They're actually pretty cheap for Cleric, but we're not going to spend our 1 million astral diamonds on that. What we are going to spend it on though is starting with some gear upgrades. Our neck waist. We want to grab the Amulet of Tiamat Demise and the Tiamat Sash. You may have to wait until there's more available. I'm not sure why there's no more Tiamat Sashes there, but you can also get them to drop for you when you run the trial Rise of Tiamat. We go to our postal courier and we pick up those items, but we will also need Tiamat's Orb of Majesty, purchasing that as well, and equipping all of these items will give us a set. I'm using a purple pieces here because I already had this set. No point binding another one. But it gives you the bonus of increasing your outgoing healing by 5% and your incoming healing. So pretty useful for a new healer. You will want to be supporting the team with like Apocalypse set or Marilith set when you get to end game. But for now, this will do. Then you want to look up the Covert Brace Restoration Breaches. Purchase those for as little as just under 5,000, and also the Tainted Shirt of the Dragon Cult, just about 800 astral diamonds. Again, claiming those, and we can go to equip them, replacing whatever gear you may have had already. This shirt gives us that 5% outgoing healing bonus, and the pants gives us the 5% power and defense. Then you will want to get some ring upgrades. Now what I did here was buy a legendary ring, and actually I think that is a mistake in retrospective. When I got the build together, I ended up with far more stats than I needed. So an alternative to this is to buy the Abyssal Touched Topaz ring. Slot that in regardless of what I say about that legendary ring. Don't get it until you're much higher up. And even then there might be better options to get anyway. I'll mention those in a second. And then we are also getting the Abyssal Touched Amethyst ring. Now, if you don't have that much astral diamonds, instead of getting the legendary Fairn Elder Zealot ring, you could get the Abyssal Touched Topaz ring here. When you get to endgame, you will want alternative rings with bonuses that give you percentage stats instead, but I would recommend when you can, get the Soothsayer's ring here of Absolution from Dragon Hunts, and then you could also get the Soulfire ring while you're at it. Not so great, but useful. And otherwise, the Glowing Restoration ring, a bit more expensive though, but can be worth it giving the percentage stats and the useful stats there. And other rings from there come from dungeons and master dungeons. So now we're going to move to our companions. You probably only have the Mystic Fiora and some like green or purple companion gear here. We're not going to worry about that for now, but getting better companion gear you would get from doing the Adventure Scaleblight Summit, get this piece here, and then do the North Arc Reaches, get this pack here, and get this choice pack here. Again, focusing on your healing stats. So with our companions, we're going to go again to the auction house, and we're going to purchase the Joy Dancer of Lyra. Nearly 100,000 astral diamonds, yes. Then the Deep Crow, nearly 150,000 astral diamonds. Then the Hawk at just under 2,000. Then the Red Cap at about 15,000. And Lilend at 16,000. Now, what I would recommend, instead of getting the Red Cap, you might want to get the Tamed Velociraptor. It's just there's not many of them, and they're pretty expensive. And you can better off doing a Reaper's Challenge every day, getting those marks, and then getting yourself the legendary Tamed Velociraptor with that through the pack. Claim all those companions there, and then go and equip them. Now doing so should put the bonuses of those companions in your slots here. I already have Lilend, so no point doing that. And I already have the Red Cap. Lilend will give a bonus on a 20% chance when you use a daily power to heal everybody for 38% of their maximum hit points. And the Red Cap will just give you some critical severity. It'll also give you some critical avoidance, but I didn't find any that was more useful than that at a decent budget range. So here we have all of these bonuses here. We actually want to switch Lilend out of here and put Lilend over here. And then we bought the Deep Crow, so we'll put that one here. Again, we already have the Deep Crow, so these three I don't need to equip. You will. And so those are all the bonuses. Now I would recommend, instead of the dulled senses from the Mystic Fiora, switch to your Reinvigorate right here. You got the Reinvigorate through the Joy Dancer. Now for the summoned companion, I recommend just running with Lilend. That's her right here. She has some decent heals. She's going to heal you, she's going to heal the party, and she is alright to just support you as a healer. But when you do go into endgame, you'll most likely want like the top 4 or 5 from here, at least one of those to support the team. And then for these bonuses, you do not really want to upgrade them except the Deep Crow and potentially the Hawk, as you will eventually want to get better options. Again, the Tamed Velociraptor, potentially the Alpha Compy and the Golden Bullet, then like the dog, Kenku Archer, these bonuses that are giving those stats, again, as we said in the stats section of how you want to prioritize them. And then you would upgrade them from there using companion upgrade tokens. So let's move to our mounts. Here you probably only have one mount already, which is the Flail Snail from Ebon Downs, and you could use its quick action ability there along with Explosive Equalizer. But we're going to get some upgrades. I recommend going to the auction house here and purchasing the Commander T-Rex, just over 400,000 natural diamonds. Alternatively, you could get the Pegasus or you could get the Swarm. Those mounts are going to support... Bloody hell, guys. Who bought out all the swarms from my previous video? Anyway, these mounts you're going to use to support the team and even into endgame. So the T-Rex is going to be very useful as the healer, has the ability to root enemies and cause them to take increased amount of damage, along with then the equip power of Ferocious Predator, benefiting you with those stats which benefits your healing. Once again, I believe I already have this mount, so I'm not going to go and equip this one. However, I believe I have the King of Spines, which gives me the Mythic Tyrannosaurus Rexum, but it's the exact same bonus. Again, the amount is account wide with that dash account, meaning you can claim it on all your other characters through the promo tab. So this gives you 2 useful bonuses there, but quite costly. We're only at 215,000 astral diamonds left. Keep in mind that the T-Rex actually has a special ability called Minion Consume, and that means you can consume an enemy which has a 1 dot. So this guy, for example, even if he has 10 million hit points, you can immediately destroy him. You can't affect anybody who's got higher than 1 dot. So you can summon it there, casting it, and you can see it'll go and eat the guy, eating him up, and he's dead. And he will also put the debuff on anybody who's nearby. You see the Rex next to them? That means they got also affected by the Roar ability, which it didn't actually do, but it will still make them take increased damage and still will root them. Now you want to do is get some more mounts to populate your stable. You want to go and equip that T-Rex here. Again, I have the King of Spines because there's no point me equipping the Commander one, but the Commander one will give you the same slots for your insignias, so don't worry about that. What you want to do is go to the auction house again and look up the Storm Raider mount. Purchase this one for about 7,000, then the Gorgon for about 10,000, then the Apparatus of Gond for about 10,000, and the Axebeak for 10,000. Claim all of those from your mail and then go ahead and equip them. Now what you want to do is go to your stable and have them slotted in here. So the Apparatus of Gond, the Axebeak, Gorgon, and the Storm Raider. Now what you want to do is get some insignias to fill these slots to give you insignia bonuses. So again, we go to the auction house, you go to mounts, go to insignias, clear whatever you have here, and then look up Regal. We want to buy 6 cheap Regal insignias. It can cost you about 2,000. Doesn't matter which type you get, whether that's aggression, refuge, etc., because the stats in them are abysmally low. You will not upgrade these insignias. You're only using them for the bonus, the insignia bonus that they can give. Then you will want to get 2 barbed insignias, 5 of these enlightened ones, and 2 of these illuminated ones. Claim them all from your mail. And now you should have 15 green insignias in your inventory. Again, it's 6 Regal, 2 Barb, 5 Enlightened, and 2 Illuminated. So now you go to your mount stable, and we slot them in. So a Regal here, a second Regal, and a Barbed for Protector's Camaraderie. Then a Regal here, an Enlightened, and an Illuminated for Gladiator's Guile. And a Barbed here, an Illuminated, and a Regal for Shepherd's Devotion. And now we just have a Regal, an Enlightened, and another Enlightened for Assassin's Covenant. Reduces our defensive stats, but increases our crit severity and critical strike for our heals. Another Regal, Enlightened, and another Enlightened for a second one. This will boost those stats a little bit more again, but only half as effective as the first. So now we need some collars. You may have gotten like a blue collar from doing, again, Ebon Downs. Feel free to slot that in and you can save yourself some astral diamonds. But I recommend going to the auction house and looking up Epic Collar Choice Pack. Here you're going to spend about 100,000 astral diamonds purchasing 5 of these. Claim those and we should now have 5 packs in our inventory. You can only use one color of each type, one practical, one sturdy, etc. We're going to take rough astral diamonds here, then encounter power damage because that is what you use on DPS, and for healer your damage doesn't matter. Then your outgoing healing one with supportive, and movement speed with unified, and critical severity with wayfaring. Go ahead and slot them in. I go practical, sturdy, supportive, unified, and wayfaring. And that gives us all the bonuses plus a ton of item level. Now we are at 35,000 item level. You should be as well. I'm using a bunch of scrap gear here. You want to again upgrade that, especially the armor and the boots with the seal of the dragon gear as I mentioned back there. And then you want to get some dragon hunt gear upgrades for the helmet and the arms when you get there. Now it can be better for us to have right now the abyssal touched topaz ring. So I'm going to purchase that here. I'll make sure I have said earlier in the video, I'll edit that to not buy the legendary ring if you don't have much astral diamonds, especially with this build. We're just going to have far too many ratings with it, so no point with that. And with the abyssal touch topaz ring, we can see our ratings are much more at a sweet spot there with giving us a boost in our outgoing healing. So you can see our outgoing healing is already at nearly 90%, crit severity at 75%, power 57%, crit strike 55%. That is not bad at all. 35,000 item level, just over that, and we can join all of our random queues now. Make sure you are in a guild for the 3,000 item level boost. Ideally the guild is max level 20. You can find many friendly guilds who will help you out, and just have the power bonus here. You can have like defensive here, mount speed, or when you're in a dungeon movement speed, or if you're going to die a lot, revive sickness. So the last thing to mention would be enchantments. What you may have is just some green ones here from doing your adventures, but I'd recommend getting your free combat enchantment. Thanks to those for pointing that out in my previous fighter budget build video. You can do the acquisitions incorporated adventure. You just have to get to Temple Intrusion and you will complete that and get the pack right here. It's a choice pack with all of the combat enchantments. Starting out, I would recommend you get a soul shield as the healer. None of the ones here are going to benefit you. What you will want to do, just get the soul shield, and if you die, you'll instantly get revived. You probably shouldn't be dying much. Maybe if you're in a really new player team, you'll get some threat from enemies who are just going to attack you as the healer because your allies have not attacked them yet. But do not upgrade enchantments. Do not upgrade these green ones. You're better off buying it legendary and upgrading with your materials, or directly buying it mythic. Do not upgrade green insignias. Buy them at legendary and upgrade from there, or just buy them directly at mythic. Do not upgrade collars. That's a waste. It's far more cost than it's worth. And ultimately you can do the Mensa Branson campaign and you could get the enchantment here, the lightning flash, and that will help you out with getting some extra critical strike there. But you can purchase it from the auction house, and you could purchase it already at legendary or mythic. Now, as a bonus step, if you want to be min-maxing, let's say, your stats and you're running tough content, I recommend from invoking every day, you get some currency and you can buy your Wildstorm Elixir. Make sure to get some of that. It will give you the critical strike and critical severity. Additionally, you can look up Flask of Potency from the auction house and buy these +1 versions. Cost you 20,000 astral diamonds for 99 of them. Again, another 5% critical severity. So with Flask of Potency will be 84%, and then you can get some Squash Soup to get you to the 89%. Nearly maxed out already on such a low budget build. Just be aware these are pretty expensive, and the Summer Festival has just gone by where you could have taken advantage to farm a lot of this. And otherwise you could get these Corrupt Overloads. They last 8 hours, and you'd be surprised how long they actually last for. And then Devil's Precision for the crit strike chance, 5%. You'll be able to get them through the upcoming event Hell Pit with those challenge tokens. And otherwise, for your belt item, the only one that would really matter will be like the Forger's Box. I don't have it, but you'll get it through Descent into Avernus. You can see at Mythic it'll give you 3% power. You can look up a video of how to get that and get it upgraded. It's much easier these days. So that is the entirety of my build. Hopefully this is insightful and helps you guys out. You get some pretty decent heal stats, and we'll showcase a run later on where I just go into a complete random group. I will upload the first one I get with the content. I'll probably run just the advanced dungeon queue, go in there at random as soon as it says the roll bonus wants a healer, and we should get an instant pop. So this should get you started, give you a decent baseline for a healer, a cleric healer budget build. This will get you set up to be able to do dragon hunts, to do any of your random queues. So a massive thank you to all these channel members again for their added support. You can support me for as little as €1 a month by clicking the join button down below. So we'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.